Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Much love, guys. Now, today's first story comes from the Bridezillas subreddit. Oh, dearie me. From the Imperishable Roach, who says, boyfriend's sister wanted me to dye my hair for a wedding. I apologize if this isn't formatted the best, but I tried my best to break it up so it can be readable. So to start this off, my boyfriend and I have been together for about a year now, and I'd say me and his family have been on decent terms. They are traditional and I am alternative, but they accept their son's decision and generally very polite with me. Issues began to arise, however, after his sister got engaged last fall. I'd met her and interacted with her a few times at that point, and she had been generally nice to me. She told me that I was invited to the wedding, which I thought was very sweet, but little did I know what that would entail. Her fiancé approached my boyfriend out of the blue and asked him to be a groomsman, to which he didn't give much of an answer. My boyfriend expressed to me later that he wanted to attend as a guest and really didn't want to participate in the wedding itself. He has pretty bad anxiety, so that's understandable, and he ended up declining the offer. His sister was immediately not taking no for an answer and went as far as to send him the tux that he was going to need, despite him declining the offer. What was even more shocking was that the tux was going to be hundreds of dollars, and she wanted him to purchase it, not rent it. He once again stood his ground, and she went to their parents and had them attempt to confront him. They immediately brought me up and began blaming me for his decision, despite me obviously having no say. And he defended me while once again giving a firm no. Things were quiet on that subject for a while until a few weeks later, when she informed him that she would not be able to provide a dinner plate for me. They are still planning the wedding, and at that point it was over 8 months away, so there is no reason why I could not be accommodated considering that I was invited. She claimed that I was still invited, but that she just couldn't accommodate an extra person. It was pretty obvious that I now wasn't welcome. So I was debating even putting the date on my calendar to go. But now there is a new installment to this saga. She sent my boyfriend a message out of the blue telling him that I will need to dye my hair, and that there is now a dress code for guests. Everyone in attendance is expected to wear certain colors, burnt orange or green, and I'm supposed to dye my hair black. If you have ever dyed your hair, you know how hard black is to remove, so that request is insanely unreasonable. My hair is usually a dark red and is rarely vibrant, but that's beyond the point. I'm not ruining my hair to accommodate her guest rules, and the best that I could do is a wig, but I am honestly done at this point. My boyfriend respects my decisions either way and has got my back no matter what, but I am just still in awe, because I have never experienced this. I feel like it's 100% targeted, and I don't know how this will affect my relationship with his family going forward. I just need to talk about this, and I'm wondering if anyone else has had this happen. Updates will be in the comments, but now until I can better format them to be shorter and fit well into this post. I tag people in them if they get lost among the other comments. Oh my bloody word, so because she can't control her brother, she's going to punish you instead. That is just fascinating behavior, isn't it? Like in the shittiest way possible. I mean, first she's pressuring your brother and with unreasonable demands. You know, I thought she was giving him the tux at first, but he still has to pay for it, even though she's going to send it him anyway. When that wasn't working, she's getting the parents to pressure him as well. And when that doesn't work, she withdrew the dinner plate for you while still keeping you invited. What's going to happen there? I was like, so OP was still going to turn up. Is she just going to be sat in this chair with everyone else eating and she's going to have nothing in front of her? That's just bizarre, isn't it? And then she's just wanting you to change your physical appearance by dyeing your hair black. And I think the simple answer here is that neither of you should attend. His family is already blaming you for his groomsman decision. So whichever way this goes, they're going to blame you for something. And I think that will be your future if this isn't stamped on immediately. And anyone who's demanding guests dye their hair to attend, you know, that kind of behavior doesn't change quickly. Eaton Road says, what on earth does it mean that you're still invited but they can't give you dinner? You would sit at the table of the reception and everybody else would be served food and they wouldn't serve you. That's insane. Obviously, don't dye your hair for this stupid woman and don't buy a burnt orange dress for fuck's sake. Do not attend this under any circumstances. This woman is a piece of work. Don't worry about how this affects your relationship with his family. If anyone asks why you're not going to the wedding, you can tell them that the bride told you she didn't have enough money to provide you with dinner, so you won't be attending. Opie says, right? That was the most confusing part to me. I may have a trip that conflicts with a wedding anyway, so I can just casually miss it. I luckily have a very supportive partner who will defend me no matter what and doesn't put up with his family's BS, so no matter what, it should be fine. Green Whizzle says, sis is insane and she hates you. Don't go to the wedding. There is no sane reason a guest wouldn't be served dinner like any other guest, and it's bad enough when brides presume to ask their attendants to dye their hair. But guests? She can go fuck herself. Opie says, for real. I've heard of brides asking bridesmaids to dye their hair, which is already a big commitment, but guests? The dress code already threw me off so heavily because why would she want everyone in attendance matching a certain aesthetic and not just bridesmaids and groomsmen? I hope people don't show up because of it, honestly. Mama Bear Loves Tea says, first, she's crazy. I hope you don't end up going. These demands and changes are enough to give me whiplash, and I'm not even going through this. The lack of a meal is so strange, and it sounds like she keeps coming up with weird things to make you want to stay away. Second, with dark red hair and green clothes, I reckon you'd look stunning. So why on earth would you need to dye your hair? Opie replies in, I'll be going on a trip around the time of a wedding, so I'll likely be having the time of my life, while she has a boring little wedding. I would have been down to wear green 100% because I think it would look nice, but she just had to ruin it with a hair request. In my opinion, she's delivering her own karma by making people wear two very conflicting colors that only look good on their own, and I don't think she even realizes it. And one more comment from Advanced Crazy who says, there are one of three ways I would handle this situation. 1. Drop boyfriend off at the wedding and make sure to get out and give him a big kiss goodbye in front of all, and just wait for his call to be picked back up. Others will see you leave and ask questions. 2. Plan a girls' weekend and be insanely annoying with posting pics of you all having fun. Shows you don't care and will live your life still. 3. Maliciously comply to her requests. Get a dress in those colors you would love. Seriously, go to Ross and they have formal dresses and normally green is in there. Get a long, think Morticia long wig. Halloween is coming up and they have them at Walmart, and wear it. Since you won't have a dinner plate, just DoorDash your food and walk out of the reception and walk back in carrying bags of food. Get something for your boyfriend too. Only do this one if boyfriend is good with it because it'll rock the boat with his family. The sister is a psycho and has some strange thing against you, or is taking out the rejection from your boyfriend onto you. Either way, I would go low contact with them for the future. So OP started adding a series of updates. They said, I've sent her a personal message detailing my boundaries and stating my requirements. This is what I said to her. Hi, I just wanted to shoot you a message and let you know I heard from boyfriend's name about your request for me to dye my hair for your wedding. And I find that to be too big of a commitment for just being a guest at a wedding. If I don't fit the intended aesthetic for your special day, then feel free to uninvite me. I was set to attend as his date, but I refused to make an alteration to my hair that could leave it damaged and unable to be dyed back to my desired color. I'd be happy to wear a green or burnt orange dress, and I can be formal, but asking guests to dye their hair is an unreasonable and frankly disrespectful request. As I said before, you may uninvite me if you please because I'm not honoring that request. Opie then said update about the message I sent. Of course, instead of responding, she brought her entire family into it. My boyfriend is absolutely livid that she spread my message around as making a big deal about it, and isn't speaking to her right now. His parents tried to get aggressive with him about it, and he told them that if they want to come to our wedding in the future, they have to shave their eyebrows off and dye their hair green so they can see how it feels to be asked to alter their appearance like that. His sister is still being petty about it, so who knows what will happen going forward. But nonetheless, I've been firm with my boundaries. She apparently sorted out the dinner plate situation, but just didn't tell us for months. So I do in fact have food if I go, but I doubt that I will. Opie also says, I have some extra things that I didn't include here about how she's treated her brother, so I might as well include them from here. She did in fact just expect him to buy the tux and told him that she wanted him to have it tailored to fit him exactly so that it would look perfect. It was expected that he would buy it early as well, despite him currently saving money for his own place to live because his last living situation did not work out. This woman has also casually asked him for money for Christmas, upwards of $500, which was supposedly to go towards the wedding, when her fiancé's parents were already paying for most of it. He of course was shocked, and obviously can't be handing out $500, so he got her some personal gifts that aligned with her interests. She seemed less than happy, despite her only having gotten him the same shirt she bought him 2 years in a row. Not joking. They grew up the exact same way, in a small and modest home with not much money, and she still chooses to overspend on lavish items like Louis Vuitton purses despite living in an apartment currently. Her fiancé was also in fact just a puppet for her to deliver her message to my boyfriend, and wasn't going to ask him to be best man. So it was over 16 months later that OP came back into the post and said, "So over a year ago now, I made a post that got some attention, and then completely forgot about it. There was a popular demand for an update/resolution, so if anyone remembers this saga, here it is. If you didn't read the previous post or don't want to, my boyfriend's sister expected me to dye my hair black and wear specific colors, burnt orange or green to her wedding. So she attempted to exclude me by saying that she could not provide me a seat or food after giving me an invitation and saying that she would love to have me. I attended the wedding against what everyone advised, and I'm so glad that I was there to witness the absolute mess that it was. To properly start this off, I first need to talk about the rehearsal, which was also a mess. Everyone was disjointed and disorganized. The planner was yelling at people, someone stepped on a snake, and everyone kept forgetting what was rehearsed. It was a very hot day, and the rehearsal was outdoors, so everyone was sweaty and fed up. After the rehearsal, there was a dinner, where I apparently embarrassed everyone by pulling out a bottle of Advil to give my boyfriend because he had a migraine, and walked with him to the bathroom when he felt sick. Additionally, on the morning of the wedding, his parents sent a message on his sister's behalf saying that my piercings weren't going to be allowed either, which led to my boyfriend calling and confronting them. Despite all of this, I had now seen how bad the rehearsal was, so I had to be there for this wedding. I of course did not remove my piercings or dye my hair. I went as me, in a tight emerald green dress. When I arrived, I noticed multiple people with piercings and tattoos as well as dyed hair. I immediately noticed that no one was wearing green or burnt orange, and the main wedding colors were beige and pink. As many speculated, her improvised rules were definitely targeted towards me, possibly to try and make me look bad or embarrass me. Now onto the wedding. The speakers they used to play music sounded like they were waterlogged, and whoever was playing the music somehow paused it twice. Rather than having a flower girl, the groom had his own grown male friend tossing flowers, and a guest nearly walked out because he threw flowers directly in his face. The groom walked out to "X gon' give it to ya," very classy, while all of his buddies yelled and whistled. The bride's grandma decided she didn't want to walk out as rehearsed, and loudly argued with the event coordinator who was trying to lead her back over where she was supposed to walk. Everyone was looking at each other, cracking jokes and whispering, and it might have been one of the least serious weddings I've ever attended. When it was time for photos, she asked me to get in the photo, only to purposely place me in the back. My boyfriend noticed this and picked me up bridal style so I'd be in full view in every photo. They ended up giving everyone a plate to go up and get some food, and everyone was allowed 1 plate per person. I ended up waiting until the person serving the food switched out and got 2 plates of food. The bride vanished for hours to take pictures, and everyone was left bored and waiting for cake. I had a great time partying with my boyfriend at the reception, and it turns out the bride was having fun partying too. We were watching back footage of the reception on the wedding photographer's Facebook page to try and find us dancing, and saw her in the background dancing on another guy. When I say on, I mean on, because her body was fully pressed against this random man. I went, I saw, I looked good, and I got to laugh at a failure of a wedding. That wraps up the saga. Oh my word, not DMX, X gonna give it to you to walk out to. I was just thinking afterwards, is it just the chorus? Is it just the X gonna give it to you? Or did they go the whole hog? Did they play the intro? Can you imagine? This rap shit is my motherfucker. It's not a fucking game. The whole thing just sounded like absolute chaos in the end. to be a fly on the wall, right? OP did leave a comment after this saying it was a fairly small snake that was just stunned and someone picked it up and carried it away. The chaos that ensued over such a harmless looking snake was hilarious though. Bloody hell, I'm going to turn this one straight to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. Now our next story comes from Worth Connection 3178 from the Am I the Arsehole Here subreddit, and it says, am I the arsehole here for telling my husband's best friend he let himself go after he wouldn't stop teasing me about my crush on him in high school. I met my husband in high school, back when I didn't think much of myself. We had a biology class together and sat next to each other. I thought he was cute, but I didn't pay much attention to him until I found out he was close friends with a guy I had a crush on, who I'll call Jared. After that, I started talking to my husband more, and because he's genuinely kind, he welcomed it. Eventually, we became close enough to hang out outside of class, and through him, I got to know Jared and the rest of their friend group. I tried for a long time to get Jared's attention, but he never showed any interest. When he got a girlfriend, I was crushed. My husband comforted me and told me I was beautiful and that Jared just didn't see it. Not long after, my husband confessed his feelings. Being a stupid teenage girl, I agreed to date him even though I still had leftover feelings for Jared, mostly because I wanted to feel wanted. But after a few months, Jared became single again, and I realized I didn't care the way I once did. That's when I knew I truly loved my husband, and only my husband. Years passed and Jared went through a few relationships. His last breakup hit him hard. Sadly, his girlfriend cheated, and when that happened, he started coming over a lot to vent. Over time, he changed from the confident and attractive guy I once liked to a more withdrawn, chubbier, and honestly not taking good care of himself. That's when the teasing about high school started. At first, it was just him complaining about how he used to look, but then he kept bringing up how obsessed I was with him. I ignored it because I figured he was just reminiscing on his old days, but it didn't stop. Yesterday night he came over and went on the same rant about how popular he used to be. Then he threw in another comment about how I was so in love with him back then, and even added, I knew you liked me, but you were not someone I'd ever consider being with in high school. No offense. It was insulting, and even my husband looked uncomfortable. I was tipsy and fed up, so I snapped and said, it doesn't matter because you don't even look as good as you did in high school. I don't care if I was never your type because you're definitely not mine anymore. He looked shocked. My husband gasped and I immediately felt overwhelmed and apologized. Jared got up to leave, but he was too drunk to drive, so my husband took him to our guest room while I stayed downstairs in shock. We barely spoke the rest of the night. The next morning, Jared left and my husband finally talked to me. He understands why I was upset, but he thinks it was wrong to say something so harsh when Jared is clearly depressed and struggling with his weight. I get that, but I'm still angry that Jared kept pushing the same hurtful comments over and over. It feels like he is bragging about how I used to like him, and it rubs me the wrong way. So Reddit, be honest but not brutal. Am I the arsehole? Side note, yes, this is real. Yes, this is a throwaway account. Yes, I know it's random to be writing this at 2 AM, but I'm very conflicted at the moment. Also, hopefully the formatting is easy to read and not annoying. I tried my best. Commenter said, not the arsehole. He's been dumped and is feeling low because his ex cheated. That's a big blow. So a solution to that is to jump on a memory of a high school crush you had on him and dry hump it to death to build himself back up. Not the arsehole, but he and your husband are. What did your husband say every time his friend made these comments? Opie says he would honestly just laugh it off and try and change the subject. My husband is very non-confrontational, but I can tell when he's uncomfortable. And each time Jared talked about high school, my husband was clearly very uncomfortable. I truly don't believe my husband meant to be dismissive about it. I just think he gets nervous when the possibility of friend drama arises. Fantastic Quarter says your husband being non-confrontational is a cop-out. He keeps inviting this man into your home and then sits back and watches him demean and belittle you. Why would this guy stop when the man who is supposed to love and protect you literally does nothing? And then when you, because your husband is a coward, finally say something, he gets upset with you for being too harsh. Seriously. Junior says, not the arsehole. These constant taunts are disrespectful to you and your marriage. Your husband can't feel good that his friend keeps reminding him he was choice number 2. You guys should demand your friend seek help for his issues, only then consider staying friends with him. Opie says, absolutely my thoughts. I thought it was rude to me. He was basically calling me ugly, but it was more disrespectful to my husband in the sense that he was trying to belittle my relationship with my husband. Commodore says, not the arsehole. I wonder if Jared is trying to drive a wedge between you and your husband so that his BFF will be single too. Starling replies saying, I don't think it's this. I think it's that he's struggling with his breakup and is getting really down on himself, and he's using this old memory to make himself feel better. The problem is it's making the other person in the memory uncomfortable, and even though he's been told to stop, he won't. He's being an ass. OP, not the arsehole. You apologized immediately after, so maybe tell your husband that and explain that Jared has been making you uncomfortable for a while and ask him why he's never had this conversation with him. Like, why hasn't your husband come to your defense like he has for Jared? So OP comes in with an update and says, hey peeps, I woke up today to a lot of comments, and even though it was a bit overwhelming, I read all of them, and I mean all. A lot of people had negative things to say about my husband, which honestly hurt because I didn't think I painted him in a bad light. Somehow he's being attacked more than Jared is. Before I get into the mini update, I've seen other posters add context and respond to common comments, so I'm going to do the same. This will be long. Bear with me, guys. My husband is not a terrible person. I still love him despite everything I mentioned and despite what I'm going to mention in the update. He is not weak or a beta like some people said. He just struggles to confront situations like this directly. Jared has been his best friend since 5th grade. That is not a bond that breaks easily. They went to the same elementary, high school, and university. They are basically brothers. My husband is not sucking up to Jared because he thinks Jared is better than him. If Jared weren't in such a low place, my husband would have been much harsher. I also don't think my husband is perfect. He's done messed up things in the past, but so have I, and I believe people can change. I do not have feelings for Jared. That ended years ago, and no, if Jared had stayed in shape, I still wouldn't have had feelings for him. I stopped liking him during our first year of university. We went to the same school and he looked the same as he did in high school, so it wasn't his appearance that changed things. He broke up with his girlfriend and I realized that I didn't care anymore. The old me would have been excited and tried to shoot my shot, but instead I felt nothing. I love my husband and only my husband. Jared is not an option for me in any way. Some people suggested Jared might have feelings for me, which is possible. He has made comments about my appearance before. I worked hard to glow up during my final year of high school because I wanted to improve myself before university. When my husband and I met up with Jared for the first time after that, Jared told me I looked very different. He said it as a compliment. My husband agreed because he thought Jared was just stating the obvious, not flirting. Divorce is not an option for me. I'm very religious and I take my vows seriously. They are not something I would throw away over this situation. Divorce is not always the solution. So before you comment divorce, remember that we are real people who have real history, and it's a lot harder to divorce someone than you think it is. Update. I did not show my husband the post, even though many people suggested it. A lot of the comments felt sexist and harsh towards him, and I don't want to expose him to that. But after reading everything, I did want to talk to him about his inability to stand up for me. He told me he didn't want to isolate Jared right now. I didn't know this before, but according to my husband, Jared became a bit suicidal after the breakup with his girlfriend, and my husband was the only one who could pull him out of that downward spiral. I felt sympathy for Jared, and I told my husband that. But after reading so many comments, I realized that doesn't excuse Jared's behavior, so I pushed for more answers. I also asked my husband if it made him uncomfortable when Jared constantly brought up high school. My husband paused, and I immediately knew he was holding something back. I kept pushing until he finally told me something I never thought I would hear. During our first year of university, Jared started mentioning me more during private conversations with my husband. My husband felt proud of dating me and kept saying things like he had invested in me. That already hurt, but it got worse. He admitted that he used to brag about my body and looks to Jared, showing him pictures of me dressed up for date nights. Then it escalated. Jared ended up seeing a picture of me with no clothes on, something meant only for my husband. According to him, it was an accident because he was scrolling through his photo album and the picture popped up. My husband said that when Jared started bringing up high school, he was scared Jared might bring up what happened in university and that I would be furious. I'm disgusted knowing Jared had seen me like that. It makes all of his comments about me so much worse. My husband is at work right now, which is why I have time to write this. I'm still processing everything and I feel completely lost. I didn't want him to be late for work, so we weren't able to talk much. Knowing him, he is probably at work stressing right now about me knowing the truth. If it really was an accident, I feel like I can't be completely mad. But it still feels awful knowing my photos were shown without my consent. I feel betrayed, even if I don't think my husband meant for that picture to be seen. I'm still angry that he bragged about me like I was some new sports car he got a great deal on. I know this is going to make a lot of people hate him even more, but I genuinely don't think he intended for any of this to happen. I know this isn't the update most people expected. I still need to talk to my husband when he gets back from work, and I'm hoping I can invite Jared over later today for a conversation. I'll try to update as soon as I can because I hate when updates take so long. I appreciate all the comments that were respectful towards me and my husband, but I do understand the outrage. Thanks for reading this long update, and thank you to everyone who commented on the original post. Ambitious Seesaw says on the back of this update, please stop saying he doesn't like confrontation, as that is not true. He's 100% okay with confrontation. If he can tell you that you were too harsh, he can tell Jared to knock it off. Your husband is the one not taking his vows seriously. He promised to put you above all others and let no one come between. He's not doing that. He's putting Jared before you, and that is unacceptable. Call him to the floor for that behavior. Commenter says the most annoying part about your husband is that he didn't say anything all the times his friend kept mentioning your crush. But after being pushed, pestered, and bullied constantly, and you finally said something in return, only then your husband gasped, and now he is torn and giving you a hard time. While he should have spoken up against that friend ages ago, your husband didn't protect his wife. These kinds of men often make the wife want to take all kinds of shit from others because they're too afraid to stand up to other men. So they act like you're the problem so they don't have to say anything. Poor Guy says, and quoting, my husband isn't a horrible person. And then says proceeds to describe how husband borderline used her as revenge and let her be humiliated by his friend. OP can't convince me either of these men actually like or respect her. Trick says your husband violated your ability to give consent, hid it from you, and stood up to you over your comments to not be found out, and you're just rolling with it. That's foundation breaking behavior. And one more comment from Space Commuter who says, I don't think you are safe around Jared anymore. He should not be sleeping at your house any longer or even setting foot inside. I think this is going to escalate to him assaulting you at some point. Accidentally showed someone else a nude photo of you. Bullshit. He was bragging about you like you're some kind of property, saying invested in you. What the fuck? He was already showing Jared photos of you dressed up without your consent, and then he allowed him to see that explicit image of you. I'm sorry, that was no accident. And I personally don't see a way back for this. He was showing photos of you behind your back like this, in my opinion, purposely trying to make Jared jealous, and he eventually gets to see a nude of you. And then Jared was needling OP about the old crush and the husband was just taking it. Was it because Jared knew about this nude and it could come out at any point and potentially damage their relationship? Because calling out Jared means, risking that information coming out. But the whole thing was just icky, and I don't know how you come back from that. The trust has been broken there in a massive way. Can you rebuild that? I don't think I could. Imagine hearing your partner showed off a nude of you to one of their friends. Absolutely devastating. But what do you guys make of this situation? Certainly keep an eye out for an update on that one. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.